Hey guys, it's Tip here, of course. I got an email yesterday asking what it's like to be a girl going through school on the spectrum. It was actually from a mother trying to get a bit of insight into her daughter's journey through school. Now, I know everyone's journey is very different, but I thought maybe I'd just share some aspects of my own journey that may be helpful. I hope so. So I thought I'd go all the way back to primary school because that's where it all started, obviously. Now, just note that I wasn't diagnosed with Asperger's when I was at school. I was diagnosed as an adult because although my parents thought I may have autism when I was about 3, they took me to a child psychiatrist, and at that point only boys were diagnosed, so it was kind of tossed out the door and never mentioned again. Although I was diagnosed at the age of 3 or 4 as being gifted and talented, and also having general anxiety disorder. So that was, when I was like 3, whatever. Okay, so primary school had severe separation anxiety in kindergarten. Also, my anxiety caused me to have to leave the room about every 20 minutes because I felt like I needed to urinate, so I'd go to the toilet, sit on the toilet, nothing would come out, and I'd be like, what? And then I'd go back to the classroom, and that would happen like every 20 minutes throughout the day in kindergarten. Luckily, I had a very supportive teacher who was very nurturing, and so I didn't get in trouble. It was just, I was put through a lot of tests medically, and there was no medical reason why that should have happened. It was just me being very hypersensitive and very anxious. My main memories through school were the white noise. I remember, always having a problem with people chattering around me because I couldn't really listen to the teacher while there was people talking besides me. The fluorescent lights were a major factor in primary school because, especially if they were flicking, it used to put me off my work and I couldn't actually read properly or write properly. I was always an outcast. I was regarded as gifted and talented, especially in reading, writing and public speaking, but socially I was very, very backwards. So when I was in year 2, they actually wanted to skip me forward a year academically because I was already doing accelerated work, but my parents declined because socially I was so backward that they were really concerned that it would leave me, too far behind at the other end. So like academically here and socially there, which is pretty much, now I'm like academically here and socially boom boom. Anyway, so that's primary school. And I've always had an issue with my food. Textures, colours, also I have an extreme phobia of throwing up. So I've always struggled with eating in public, so school was a big issue, there was a big issue with school there because I wouldn't eat lunch. So I had to eat breakfast and then wait until after school to have the next meal. So my energy fluctuated a lot during the day. High school, silence was a big issue in many ways, but I did make it through and I have my HSC, so everyone can get their HSC if I can, because it was really, really difficult, but Tip did it, yeah, one for the team. Anyway, so year 7 was just settling in. Year 8 was when a lot of girls started going for the whole boys thing, looks thing, following the latest trend thing. We used to sit in the playground. I remember people putting their legs next to each other and comparing which shaver they used and which fake tan they used. I'd just like to note, I went to an all-girls school. Yeah, me. I went to an all-girls school with 1,200 girls. Do I need to say any more on this video? Okay, so I felt completely like I didn't fit in. And on top of that, I was having panic attacks pretty much every day. When I got, even just walking through the school gates, my chest would be so tight, I could barely breathe. I had to leave school early a lot of days because my anxiety and my chest tightness and my overwhelm was just so intense. I couldn't actually get through the day. Like, it got to the point where my words were just, I was just slurring. I was just floppy because I had no energy left. My brain just went, like, there was nothing. Main factors in high school were the smell of deodorants and perfumes, especially in an all-girls school, the pitch of everyone's voices, lots of girls talking at once was really, really challenging. The whole fashion thing, people telling you, like, you know, most Aspies, or most people on the spectrum, I think, are people pleasers to some degree. They're trying to mould their personality and their character to fit in more with society because they don't know actually where they do fit, and you feel like an outcast most of the time. And when most people, you know, are talking about, you know, having a certain body figure, wearing certain clothes, achieving certain marks, you feel completely conflicted all the time, because to me those things have no relevance. You know, dating does not matter to me. I have absolutely no interest in dating. Well, I don't think I do anyway. Fashion, bow bow. I wear like the same style of t-shirt every day. Oh, I think this one actually needs throwing away. The elastic's kind of gone. But yeah, all those factors just nothing to me. So I really didn't fit in that aspect, and I could not relate to other people. I don't know, just everything. Like walking, like sitting in a classroom, the fluorescent lights, the sounds of people, the smells, the lunch times where people were discussing, you know, like calories in their food, or you know, how good the chocolate cake is and things like that. I couldn't actually take part in any of those conversations because it just, nothing applied to me. Academically, I started to fail because my energy was so low. I just couldn't even concentrate. Like, there was just so much going on. I actually dropped out of school a few times because I just found it way too much. I ended up with glandular fever, chronic fatigue. I had agoraphobia, like complete agoraphobia for 3 months, because it just got so much that I went into my room and pretty much closed the door and said, I can't come out. Like, it was a fear of actually going outside, but now I look back, I think it was just my whole body and mind going, shut down. I can't do this anymore. You are not leaving your room. That's it. Yeah, by year 12, I did 3 subjects for my HSC. Then I had to take a year off because it was all so intense. And I actually did the last 3 subjects by distance education, and I did it fast-forwarded through O10, which is like distance education TAFE. So I ended up doing it, but it was a couple of years late. But it was complete. But yeah, just, I guess if you're the parent of someone on the spectrum, the things you can think about are what are their triggers, and how can you avoid the triggers being around them all the time. I mean, you're never going to be able to, you know, not have fluorescent lights, not have people talking, not have people use deodorant, all that kind of thing. But where is their safe space? Everyone on the spectrum needs a safe space, especially at school, because that's when you experience the highest anxiety and burnout. Do they have a quiet space they can go? Are they constantly being confronted by their major triggers? Or, you know, is there a way that you can stop that? Can you ban deodorants in the classroom? Is that going to be such a big issue? Can you sit them in a space where the lights aren't directly above them? You know, I think most classrooms should have relatively low amount of talk anyway. In the playground, is there people they can interact with, or is there a safe space in the library that they can go and sit quietly? You know, just things like that. And are there people checking up that they're doing okay, like emotionally? Are there counsellors in the school that know about autism and Asperger's that they can speak to? Do they have social work? Just things like that, you know, just common knowledge. And obviously as a parent, just love them because they're awesome. you know, hopefully you have a supportive school where they go. As parents, you need to be like super supportive, because these kids aren't being malicious or vindictive, or they're not being rebels. They're not trying to break the rules. They're just being challenged, you know. Their anxiety is like all the way up here beyond where you can even imagine. And they're just coping in the best way they know how. And I think in the wrong environment, people would have thought that I was a really naughty child. But I never was. I was always trying to do the right thing, but I was just confronted with so much overwhelm all the time that it came across wrong a lot of the time. And I didn't make a lot of, like, I lost a lot of friends because of it. I wasn't turning up to social events. I was off school a lot. Nobody understood why. I couldn't explain myself. I couldn't put into words at that stage. It was just a really blurry, numb, dark kind of time. It was very undefined. So I hope that's given people some insight into the school situation with autism and Asperger's. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If there's anything more you would like me to say, just let me know. Anyway, I hope you're having a good Sunday, and sorry that video went longer than I thought. But yeah, over and out. Ciao.